episode 4, I talk about Jennifer. And Jennifer is, again, the woman that had interviewed me on her podcast. And, again, just somebody that I would have never crossed paths with that is now a shared part of my story. Her words were healing, community, and letting go, which so many of us that are going through grief have things that we need to let go of. And Jennifer lost her mom fairly early in the pandemic. Her mom was at like a memory care facility. She had become her primary caregiver, and her episode recounts this beautiful journey of like mother and daughter in different phases of life, and that she had written the story of anticipatory grief of how her mom was going to die, and it was going to be to dementia or memory loss, and that was it. And this crazy thing of COVID comes along and rewrites the story for her, which it does for so many of us. And I talked about this too. I had always just naively assumed that I was going to lose my parents like I lost my grandparents, which is old, in their bed, surrounded by family, like just this beautiful, beautiful experience. And that is, I was beyond lucky just to get to lose 2 people that I loved like that, but that was not the story, and that's not realistic. And so she talks a lot about that in her interview of like, I had a plan. I thought I knew how this was gonna go. Again, that common theme of perspective. She lost her mom early in the pandemic when we didn't know if COVID was on surfaces, if COVID continued to live in deceased individuals. She recounts one of the, I would say, like top 5 moments of just heartache where, oh, she wasn't able to be with her mom. And so, like all the COVID protocol, was not allowed to see her, be with her. Her mother died alone. And she calls the funeral home. She's thinking, I'm going to get to see my mom now. And she's so close for the first time geographically to see her mom. And they said, I'm sorry, you can't. Your mom is wrapped up in plastic wrap, because they didn't know if COVID could be spread. And it was against every rule. And then I started thinking about the people that didn't get funerals or memorial services, or, people whose loved ones' bodies were like put into a refrigerated truck because they were losing so many people and the morgues were overwhelmed. There are so many components of this that is unreal, that your average person doesn't think about, or even a person who also lost their mother to COVID never even thought like, wow, this is how it could have gone down. And Jennifer talks a lot too about like giving grace to yourself when caring for a loved one, why it's necessary to let go, the injustices of COVID. Her and I touch on how frustrating it is that when we say the word COVID, a lot of times things are censored or suppressed. We talk about that, about like being silenced still to this day, which is kind of frustrating. But Jennifer's story is incredible. She was the inspiration of starting a platform for me. She is writing a book. And when it goes live and can sell, I will absolutely have links to it. She has an incredible story, and it is so worth listening to.